go ahead and begin. Welcome, everyone. This is Recovery Dharma. My name is Julia. I'm one of the facilitators in the Spokane Sangha, and it is a joy to be here today practicing. I'd like to start our practice with a sentiment of metta. Metta is loving kindness. Loving kindness is one of 4 limitless virtues that we cultivate in a Buddhist practice. The other 3 are compassion, joy, and equanimity. Another word for equanimity is inclusivity, and that's going to be something that we're going to explore today. Our sentiment of metta that I'd like to share with you today is on this little painting I made. And this one reads, "May you be loving awareness. May you be loving awareness." Arrive fully to your practice, friends, to this moment. And if it's comfortable for you, go ahead and close your eyes. If that is not available to you, if that's not a comfortable place to practice, then simply turn your gaze inward. Keep your eyes open. Find something beautiful upon which to gaze. And then turn your attention inward, just as an invitation to turn down the visual distractions that might be around you. If your body is tired, go ahead and give your body full permission to lie down and maybe even to fall asleep. There are times in our lives for very active meditations where we take very noble, strict postures. And there are other times our meditation can be full of movement. And if you need to move today, particularly if you're online, please do turn your camera off and move your body and invite that to be a perfect practice. Likewise, if the body's really tired and you're struggling to concentrate, and maybe you had a disruptive night, the journey of recovery is arduous, tumultuous, tenuous, and we need a lot more rest than most of us ever give ourselves permission to have. So go ahead, grant yourself permission in this moment to rest and invite that to be a perfect practice. For the month of October, we have been exploring grounding practices and using the body, one of the 4 foundations of mindfulness, as a way to access anchoring and grounding. Today and tomorrow, we're going to go into the body in a very specific area of the body. The beginning of October, we focused on the head and neck and those spiritual chakras, the crown, the third eye, the throat. The second week of October, we sort of bypassed the heart chakra and we went right into the solar plexus, the core of the body. All of those core organs, all of those things that work behind the scenes that we never really think about. And today we're going to be talking about the pelvic region, the pelvic basin. It's almost like a bowl in the body, your hips, your reproductive organs. This chakra is the sacral chakra, and this is all about passion and creativity. This is also the place of sex and orgasm and ecstasy and bliss and all of those wonderful things that keep us alive and excited and procreating. And it's also a source for many people of confusion and misconduct and unskillful relating and a real impairment to intimacy. So the sacral chakra is a place deserving of our attention and care with maturity and reverence. The heart chakra, I'll just make a brief statement about it. The body has three lower chakra centers: the root, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus. And it has three spiritual ascending energy centers: the throat, the third eye, the crown. And both of those, from coming from the earth, rising up and descending, are those lower physical chakras. Coming from the universe, ascending up, descending down, are the spiritual chakras, and they meet at the level of the heart. The heart is the ultimate place of grounding. And one of the things I like to remind everybody is the heart also extends out into the arms. And so when you go to embrace anything, including yourself, you are bringing together the energy up from the earth through your physical chakras and down from the cosmos through your spiritual chakras together at the level of the heart in a giant embrace. It's amazing that the body is such a faithful host to all of this energy and majesty. Your body, exactly as it is. So today, bring your attention to the pelvic region and just allow your concentration to be there in your hips, in the space between your genital region and the lower part of your navel, maybe even your butt cheeks. Check in with your butt cheeks and tighten them up and then relax them. See what that does for you. And remember, this is a place that you can access for passion, creativity, a fearlessness to try something new and innovative. And I'd like you to think about your pelvic region. If you can use your imagination in this way, think of it truly like a bowl. And then in your mind's eye, you can even imagine your arms creating a bowl shape. This is your container. And in your container, creatively, passionately, exists all of the qualities that make you a whole human being, that are both light and dark, good and bad, black and white, positive, negative. And when we put that all in that container, that passionate, loving container, we create a spirit of inclusivity, which is equanimity. It's all there in that bowl, sloshing around, mixing around, making you, you, a one of a kind, the only you that has ever been and shall ever be expression of the divine imagination. What are you putting in your bowl? And mind you, this bowl, this creative space, again, coming back to the sacral chakra, our capacity to continue life, to pass down genetic coding. I mean, that's been going on for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Your ancestors, their genes, their experiences, all of it alive in you. And you get to pass it along by creating life. And if you haven't created life, then in the way that you nurture life, in the way that you conceive of your own thoughts, your own actions, the way you gestate them in your body and mind, the way you birth new ideas, new expressions of creativity, and the way you nurture and tend to that new fragile life. So it's both literal and a metaphor. And together it's incredibly powerful, all there within you, these seeds of life being expressed in you and then through you and supported and sustained because of you. This morning, I want to share with you a little story that happened on my way into Soul Center from my farm. So many of you know that Lo and I have been recording the audio version of the Sate Seva book. And I don't know what it is, but I have this very real aversion. So we record it, and then I have a hard time going back and listening to myself. And it is a physical aversion, truly. And it's not logical, and it's irrational, and it's real. So Lo shared with me this addition to this one section that we recorded. And I've already listened to this section, and it's beautiful, and I love it, and I'm so proud of it, and hooray. And then she added chimes to it. And so I am being invited to go back and listen to it with now the chimes to make sure the chimes sound great. And so this morning that came into my awareness, and I had this immediate aversion that was a physical, undeniable arising. I couldn't have stopped it if I tried. It just came over me. And I was telling Lo about it. And it feels like in my body, it feels like when I've eaten too much of a Thanksgiving dinner and I just feel bloated and gross and it's just too much. And so then I had this inner critic just erupt with all of this viciousness, saying things like, ugh, Julia, gross. There's just so much of you out there. It's just, ugh, too much you. Get over yourself. So I ventilated all of that to Lo. And Lo had the most amazing reflection for me. What she pointed out to me was, Julia, if you ever said any of that to me, like I'm too much or anything, like I could feel the pain of that. It hurt to hear you say that. And I thought for a moment, I would never say that to her. I would never say that to anyone. Because it's so nasty. It's wicked. And yet I completely gave myself full permission to say it to myself. Now, in the practice of creating a bowl, creating an anchoring pelvis, and ventilating this and speaking all of this into my container, I don't want to do so as an invitation to act on those feelings, to avoid listening to the tape, to start believing that I'm too much, to allow that viciousness to chip away at my self-esteem and my sense of confidence, but instead to just let that mix in with all of my other virtues, all of my other qualities. So what Lowe said was, and I'm paraphrasing here, but she said something to the effect of, when I eat too much Thanksgiving dinner, it's because it's so good. And she just said that with such a smile on her face. And then it made me realize, right, I can just undo my pants, like let it all hang out for a minute, go lie down, because there's pie that we still have to eat, because there's more than enough. It's not too much. There's always more to enjoy. And the process of ventilating this, the process of speaking this out loud, was a little bit like pouring it into a bowl and just having a look at it, letting it mix around so that I could see it and let it settle and clarify. But I'm not dumping that bowl on anyone else or myself. I'm not sipping from it in its toxic state. I'm putting it there so that it can air out, it can have space to settle, reveal. And I can't do that by keeping it in the confine of my mind. I have to put it out into a bigger space. So I can't think of a better space than in the bowl that is a container for my creativity, my passions, my life giving and life sustaining energy. I bring this forward, friends, as a way of creatively expanding the mind that can become so fixed on the one pervasive and pernicious habit that we share, whether it's in the form of a substance or some kind of process addiction, or one's relationship to an intimate partner or to work or to food, whatever your habit energy is, we have a tendency to get really hyper fixated on it and forget that we're this whole, very complex human being. We're not just defined by this one thing. And so if we can put this one thing in a giant bowl and mix it with all of our other creativity and passions, we might be able to create the conditions for something new to emerge. But we can't do it without practice. And that's what we're doing here today, building the foundations for that practice. So we're just going to take a couple of minutes of quiet to just let that come into the body. You can even breathe with a little bit of attention to that lower part of your pelvic basin and just ground yourself there. Anchor yourself in your creative, passionate being. Let's go ahead and take a step toward the dedication of merit. For several days, I have been reading as the dedication of merit a quote from Marianne Williamson's book, A Return to Love, because I think it's so powerful and I'd like to share it again today. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Now, friends, to get to this point is a practice. And in the Buddhist worldview, one of the things that we're practicing is understanding ourselves so well that when we are in the presence of someone else, particularly those who are unpracticed, those who may be in active addiction, those who are in the grips of some kind of confusion or ignorance, when we come into the presence of suffering, in other words, we are empty of our own stuff. And so that we can be fully present to another. Not that we are filling ourselves up with other people's stuff. That's not what we're doing. But to be compassionate and to be fully empathetic with another person is almost like passing through their stuff or allowing their stuff to pass through us. But we can't do that easily when we ourselves are full up on our own confusions, our own miseries. And so the practice is to understand well enough to create space and openness. And in that process, we can be truly and sincerely present to another. And that presence is what liberates and heals. I want to thank you all for being so present here today, for bringing your impeccable practice, your beautiful minds, the majesty and nobility of your hearts. And I want to thank you for sharing with such integrity and honesty. May you go into your day feeling a little bit lighter and sharing that brightness. You never know whose life you've just saved. Namaste, friends.